morning, listeners and viewers, here for another episode of Date Like a French Woman. And today I have a treat for you. Before I tell you about her, I just want to remind you that today's episode is all about looking and feeling your best to go dating. So that's going to be an amazing resource for you. And I have the pleasure to interview Lauren Clayton. Lauren is an integrative health practitioner, life coach, health coach, and certified yoga instructor. She holds a master's in science degree in psychology and integrates psychology, energy work, and nutrition in her private practice to help clients release malignant behavior patterns around food and exercise. She is also the co-founder of FAT, P-H-A-A-T-T, Fat Girl Fitness, a health and lifestyle brand, as well as the creator and owner of Scrumptious Creole Kitchen, a cooking brand and blog focused on low-carb and gluten-free recipes, and host of the talk show Kitchen Therapy. Lauren has been featured by Lululemon and Reebok, and her ultimate intention and desire is to positively contribute to the life of her clients and everyone she reaches. So welcome, Lauren. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm terrific. I'm very excited for today's episode because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of great questions. But before we go into that, I would love if you could tell us a little bit in your own words who you are and what brought you to your passion today of helping your clients.
Absolutely. So I started off when I was in grad school, just wanting to, when I was getting my master's degree in psychology, just wanting to help people. And I've just always known like I wanted to be a healer on some level, and but not really sure where to go, what direction. When I was, my first job was working with people that just got out of federal prison for drug-related offenses, and I really liked the work, but I was just like, and I noticed that they were eating so poorly, and it was affecting their mental health on top of everything else. And someone so passionate about nutrition, it was really hard for me to ignore this huge elephant in the room. So I eventually left that and just started my own practice where I integrate health and nutrition, and I'm very into the mind-body, soul, spirit, energy connection, and showing people how everything is interconnected. So how your relationships, how your health, wealth, relationships all kind of interconnect and play off of each other. And so that's why we all need to be balanced. Not even just balanced, but we need to just be our highest and best in every area of our life. And then, and when we do that, which is all inward, like that's what I love about your podcast and your message, is that it all starts from a place of internally coming from this place of self-love that kind of vibrates out, if you will, into your health, your wealth, your relationships, your career. So yeah, that's my goal, to just teach people how to integrate those things, but how they're all interconnected and just healing from that level.
And when your clients come to you, do you find, because I find that in my practice, that when we work in one area of their life, it ripples, and they don't even need sometimes to work. Let's say we work on love, their money situation is getting better. Do you find that in your practice as well?
Absolutely, because everything's interconnected. And what I love is when someone comes to me when they're just like, oh, I just want to lose like 15, 20 pounds. And I'm like, okay. And they're thinking that we're just going to talk about nutrition or exercise, but really anyone could read that in a book, or you could find whatever you need to online. Everyone knows how to lose weight. That's kind of like ostensibly what the surface of the problem is, that everyone already knows. But there's something around your relationships. Like, what's that? Why are you up at night, at 11 o'clock at night eating like, what are you trying to fill at that time? That's, causing you to keep that weight at a certain level, but what is it that you're like, what are you really hungry for? It's a big question I ask my clients. And then they'll realize it's something within their relationship or within their career. And when that gets healed, all of a sudden they're making more money because their sense of worth and value goes up, or their sense of like intimacy and connection with their family or their partner increases. So then the weight just naturally drops off. There's no like sacrifice or any of that stuff. So yes, definitely.
That's what's so beautiful. And do you find yourself in your coaching, when you coach someone, do you necessarily need to go back to the root of the problem, the origin of the problem, or do you sometimes just by giving tools to change brain level, achieve a result without even being really aware of where was the original point of like the beginning of what is going on today?
Well, it's different for different clients. And it typically does get back to the root of the problem, although a lot of people aren't, when you first meet someone, they're not willing to go there, or they've blocked it off. They don't want to know. They're just emotionally not maybe as capable or developed at that point. So I'm fine, working with the more, for lack of a better word, like superficial levels of things, and then going backwards. Or, sometimes they just don't feel safe with me to tell me the root of the problem. So I'll always meet a client where they're at. However, it's very liberating and empowering when someone can find the root of the problem or really discover it. And not like, oh, I'm telling you what the root of the problem, like really on this other level, understand the root of the problem and how it's interconnected to what's going on now and how it's playing out in these different areas of their life. Because when you have a cognizance around the root of the problem like that, it's just like, oh, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, it no longer has power over me. That's where it becomes empowering. It's like, oh, when it's unconscious and playing in your unconscious mind, it's just playing a program and you don't have like a lot of awareness around it. So you're doing these Band-Aid things that work for a while or don't work at all. So yes, I definitely eventually like to get to the root of the problem. Some people could go there pretty quickly and some people it takes a while.
Yes. And so for women, for example, because the audience is mostly made out of women, my audience, there are a few guys, but mostly women. Where would you recommend them to start if they want to feel good about themselves and dating? Let's say they have a few pounds to lose and they don't really feel at ease with their body. What would be the first step that you would recommend for them to take action?
In terms of body image?
Yes, body image, yes.
Okay, well, sometimes with body image, there's a reason that we carry extra weight, or there's a reason that we just maybe don't look our best. So I'd always want to start by exploring that, like journaling. What is this extra 5, 10, however many pounds? What is that protecting me from?
Yeah.
What is that, why is it easier to maybe, like binge eat at home or just do some happy hour with girlfriends and not maybe use that time to exercise and get ready for a date? What's safer about that or comfortable about that? And what would happen if I were to spend that time exercising? What were to happen if I had my dream body? I think that's a really good thing to explore, because sometimes we're looking at it from like a victim perspective or a perspective of lacking or wanting. It's like, I don't have this, I am not this, I am not like, so you're perceiving yourself, your whole image is from a state of lack. So it's good to journal and explore with someone, if you can explore it with someone, if you have a coach like you and I are, or if you're just by yourself, journal about it. Like what would be different if I had the dream body and I was, or the body that you want, that where you'd be comfortable on a date, what would happen? Would I have to be more vulnerable?
Yes.
And I do think like if you're like a feminine woman or the feminine energy in the relationship, it is your role, if you will, to be the vulnerable one, to be kind of the emotional leader in the relationship and things like that. So And that's scary for people or some women, and they don't know how to do that, or they've been hurt in the past from being vulnerable. So it's like, I don't want to go there. So exploring what's behind that is really important, because otherwise, to me, I think it's going to be like a Band-Aid thing. Like, okay, I'll lose 20 pounds, and then that comes right back on. You want to, or more, yes. Exactly. So you want to be in a place where you're taking care of your body in a good way, you're feeding it the right foods, you're exercising in a way that's all a form of self-care and self-love. And then when you are doing that, you just have this different, you like radiate differently, and men really pick up on that. And I mean, men, or the male energy in a relationship wants the female energy in the relationship to be happy, healthy, and available in those ways. So that's why it's super important. Not just because society says we should look this way. That's a separate issue, but it's more of an internal value system.
Absolutely, because even when the outside image is perfect, or what they think is perfect, if the inside perception is not matching, then they will never actually feel at ease in the world, and they will never attract the love or whatever they're after.
Absolutely.
Huge. And so when somebody comes to what is the majority of your clients' goal? Do you have more people coming to you for body image, or what do you usually, what kind of problem do you usually see with people?
Well, my niche is working with people to help them get over behavior patterns around food and exercise, like the thing that's holding them back, whether they're under eating or overeating, or just using food in a way that's not serving them. Yes. Or, so that's half of and just really breaking down that behavior pattern. It's typically very closely linked to relationships, and, the ability to self-care, have a sense of self-care and self-love. And then the other half of it, my clientele is people that are just going through a rough time. Just something, I'm going through a divorce, someone died, or I just need to get my life together. I'm ready to kind of up level and, make a career shift, a big transition. I meet people a lot of times when they're in a transition in their life too.
Yes, that's usually when people really need help, when they're shaken somehow, they don't know, it's uncertain, the unknown, the big unknown.
Absolutely.
What on a personal level, so your feet, what are your eating habits? Because I see that you're cooking with Creole food, gluten-free and low carb. In my head, it doesn't go together. How can that go together?
I know, that's why I love doing it. So I'm Creole. My family's from the South, New Orleans specifically. So it's known for the gumbo and the beignets and the meat pies, and just, has a big French influence. The food does. So, a lot of breads and things like that. And I just actually got back from New Orleans, and I ate a bunch. And so I grew up with that food, but I just saw it, if you're eating like that on a regular basis and not exercising. And I was always told growing up that colon cancer runs in our family. Now I have different opinions about, putting something in your mind about your health and how it'll affect your health. So I choose not to believe that anything runs in my family, actually. But I did notice that when I ate low carb most of the time, I felt better. I had more energy. And this was a time when I was in grad school and just living off of carbs and kind of just something had to change, because I was way too busy to just be sick and tired. So I started eating low carb and really liked it. And then started finding little recipes that I could, make things that aren't supposed to be like meatballs, but also, I don't know, things that aren't typically low carb, like onion rings, right? I have an onion ring recipe, I think, on my thing. But and then now that there's, things like coconut flour, these different flours that are way more available now, it's so much easier to make these low carb foods. So So yeah, I mean, and I still eat regular, like I eat regular cookies and things like that in moderation, but I just like having that available. And it's like I get to use my creative energy in that way in the kitchen. I love to cook. So it's just my form of, having fun and in a way to give to others. So
Yeah, because food and love to me, but I'm French, so food and love is intimately connected. So
yes.
so I can understand that your love of cooking is a way to relax, and creativity is also flowing into that.
Yeah.
And so in your talk show, I'm going to have to go and listen to that because I'm very curious now. I didn't know you had a talk show. You talk only about Creole food, or do you talk about all kinds of food and how to make them healthier?
So in my more of my blog, or if you follow Scrumptious Creole Kitchen on Instagram, it's more of the food stuff. So in Southern culture, there's a thing called kitchen table talk, and it's like that's kitchen table talk. It's not something you talk about in public because it might be taboo. Or so I love interviewing people, and so actually I don't know if I've ever been. I'm trying to think if I've been interviewed before, but so this might be one of my first. It's for sure one of my first. I'm usually I'm usually the one interviewing, and I really love that process. Yes. So I just wanted to have a show where I could interview people and just have like a real, genuine, authentic talk where someone could just, be vulnerable in a way and talk about things that are important to them that maybe they don't get to talk about all the time, or especially things that I don't agree with my clients, or not clients, but I don't agree with the person I'm interviewing. Like one person I interviewed, she was really into protesting, and I just have different opinions about protesting. I don't think that you should give that energy, like resistance towards something, because what resists persists. But like I wanted to hear her opinion about it, and so that's just one example of that type of like things, like tell me something I don't know, or tell me your side of it. So that's what the Kitchen Table Talk show is about.
That's very interesting. And since you're doing energy work, when you are in contact with people like this, because even if it's just, I don't know if you do your shows in person, but even over the internet, we connect on an energy level.
Yeah.
What do you do if, let's say, you have a guest that has a view that is really opposite of yours, and an energy that is maybe resisting something? What do you do on a personal level to clear your energy? Because I always tell people to take salt bath and meditate and stuff like this. Do you also practice that for yourself?
Yes, all the time, every day, actually. Salt baths and meditations are great. Sage is great, things like that. But I do it. So I tell people, like, you brush your teeth every day, you take a shower, mostly, every day. So why wouldn't you clear your energy field? Everyone has an energy field and an aura that they're constantly vibrating, but like things come in, either we watch the news and that has an effect on us, or just, we're always passing by things, especially if you work with people like we do. So you have to clear it all the time. And it's easy as like bringing in a white light, or you can bring in a white, like a fire, like a red orange kind of light that looks like, and it'll actually like, burn away anything. And then you imagine that negative energy going towards the ground, because the earth, it recycles everything. Like, you could literally put poop on the ground and something will grow, so it's like the earth knows how to recycle things. But it's the same with energy. So just pulling all of that down through a white light. And I do that so many times, just really doing that to keep my energy field clear.
Yes, and that's really important. When we talk about energy, I know in my shower in the morning, I always visualize the energy filling my aura at the same time as my body. And it really makes a difference. People don't realize that when you go around all day, you accumulate, especially for us, because we're healers, so we're empaths all the time, and we accumulate. And then at the end of the day, you're drained and tired, and you cannot even think clearly. So that's why I was curious, because when you work with the public, and especially when you work with people who are going through difficult moments in their life, it's important also for you to protect yourself in a way.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Protect yourself, clean your energy all the time for sure.
Do you have men and women in your practice?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. A lot of the times, what happens is that I will have a woman in my practice, and then I start working with her husband, like both of them, and then I'll do an individual session. But they're usually kind of like a little reticent at first, and like, okay, I'm liking. First of all, I'm liking the changes I see in my wife, and then when someone shifts energetically, especially in a close, intimate relationships, the other one needs, or their issues or whatever become more highlighted. And so, because it's really easy to get stuck in our, whatever we're comfortable in, or even if it's a bad behavior pattern, it becomes like an addiction. So when one decides to get healthier, they either pull away from each other or they come closer in a healthier way. And so that's always my intention with, when I'm working with one or both people in a relationship, is to, have them evolve up this way. So yeah, a lot of my male clients come from my female clients as their partners, but I have a few male clients that, just through, all my stuff is through referrals. So.
Yes. I also have more women, and like you're saying, when one of the component of the couple is starting to work on themselves, it's like a tango, it's changing the dance, and then suddenly the other one is like, what's going on? It's very funny.
I know, it's good though. I love that process. And there's been a few times that they're like, what are you doing to my wife? Like everything, like why is she, saying these things? And I'm like, because she's, voicing whatever, and then you get to voice what, you feel. And it's a totally different level of intimacy, which I love showing people how to navigate that. It's really, I don't know, I really like it.
Do they get scared sometimes because their wife is changing too much?
Oh yeah. Very much so. Things are, healing is like back and forth. It's not just a straight line up. It's like, because you're getting outside of your comfort zone and you don't know what it's like. You don't know if the other person will join you. You don't know if you'll be accepted, or, the other, or even the family, your partner, but also your children or your extended family will accept you or understand what's going on, even though it's the highest and best thing for you. So there's a lot of push and pull and back and forth. And yeah, I've had plenty of husbands be like, what are you doing? Or like, what's, that kind of resistance. And, even, my clients, when I'm working with them, there's a form of resistance, but that's totally fine because it's about breaking down that resistance and understanding it. So.
And sometimes the resistance is not that obvious, because I know that some people, because not most, but a lot of people have heard about energy and the law of attraction and all that. So when you start explaining that to them, they're like, oh, I know that. But that's resistance too. That's resistance to change. They're saying, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes it's not that obvious.
No, I love law of attraction stuff. And I feel like I'm never learning enough. I'm always learning. Even if there's books I've either read or listened to, 5-10 times, and it's like, oh, I hear something new. So I think that if you're doing that in any area of your life, like, yeah, I know. It's like, that's resistance. You might want to check into that. So
stop growing. Yeah, there is a reason. It's kind of a protection. And so who are your mentors, like the people you really admire that work in the same field as you or as me? What comes to mind if I ask you for one of your favorite teachers or coach or healer?
Oh my gosh, so many. So in terms of law of attraction, I really like Pam Grout. I talk about her a lot because she's so approachable. Like, she talks about these really complicated principles and she breaks it down in a way that is so palatable and approachable, and she's hilarious.
And she has fun experiments too.
Yes. Yes. I mean, that's one of the books I've read so many times. And
The Think and Grow Rich, or which one?
oh, Pam Grout is E squared.
E square and E, the one that came after.
Yeah. So those books are, but Napoleon Hill, like, is Think and Grow Rich. And
She also, I have one in my car.
oh, Think and Grow Rich. Yes. Yeah. That's a great one too.
Yes.
Yeah. She's amazing. So, yeah, that's a good one. And then I really like Oprah. There's something about her energy that I connect with. And I really like how comfortable she is with herself. You know, she broke into this entertainment industry. She's like a Black, not super attractive woman, like, you know, odds completely against her. And she just talk about self-love. She just kind of owned it, you know? And I listened to a lot of her interviews, and the one thing she always says, she's very connected to her faith. And she's like, I always knew I was a child of God. So I just knew, like, you know, having this like really solid sense of like, I know I'm taken care of type of thing. And she's been through a lot of crap in her life, but you know what I mean? She was just like, yeah, yes, I got this. So I just really love that about her. And I love Tony Robbins. I love like his, you know, dynamic, like energy. And you know what I mean? Like when I need to present things to clients, or when I just need to like feel like that, I'll watch his stuff. And like I feel like he's very kind of spiritually aligned and connected too. So I really appreciate and respect his work as well.
Yeah, he became, I have the feeling he became more spiritual with the years, because I started with him like 16 years ago, and it has evolved, and that's beautiful to see also.
Yeah, and I love that he owns that. He's like, I've evolved. And he's like, I wasn't this way all the time. And he talks about, you know, even calling himself an ass, like what an ass he was and how much he's, you know, grown over the years. And I love that someone is willing to show themselves in that way. It's like, learn from me, you know, that type of thing. Yes. And, you know, who else I really like, we've talked about this before, is Dr. Pat Allen. So she's the relationship.
I hear about her for the second time today, so I'm going to go and research her material, because there is no randomness.
There isn't. And I just love her. I actually interviewed her on my show recently, and she's been on Oprah a bunch of times. She's on those dating reality shows, like showing people, you know, just how to be in a relationship. One of her books is Getting to I Do. And she shows, it's more focused. She's writing for women, and she's trying to, you know, show women, or the female energy in a relationship, how to be female, how to, like, you know, one of her, like, the foundational things is like, you have to come from a place of self-love. You have to be in love with yourself before anything else. Like, yeah, she's like, you're going to attract the wrong thing. You're going to attract the wrong man, or like whatever, like everything that you don't want, if you don't come from a place of being like just in love with yourself. And I love that. And the way she writes about it, she even breaks it down from like a scientific point of view about why that's so important. So Dr. Pat Allen, read all of her books.
I will, because I have other teachers, but I hear that she's fabulous too. And as far as feminine energy, do you find, because one of the reasons I really started coaching women, it's because I went to the gym, and for a period of time, it's probably was because it was in my awareness, the women that I was coming across were all tough, and they were not in their feminine. They were beautiful. Their body was amazing because they were exercising a lot and all that, but their energy was like a man. Mm-hmm. And I always coach women stepping into their feminine if they want to attract a masculine man, first of all, and if they want to have harmony in their relationship. Do you find that a lot of women have somehow substitute a masculine energy instead of finding the strength in the feminine?
Yes. And I think that, you know, we're taught that feminine somehow feminine got linked with being weak or being, especially now that there's, you know, so many more entrepreneurs, but female entrepreneurs in general. And, you know, there's a time and a place to be in your masculine. Dr. Pat Allen says, like, you know, when I'm at work, I have my balls on. She's very kind of like that. So she talks like that. And, but she's like, when you're not at work, or when you're not mothering, because mothering is actually a masculine thing. You're providing and you're protecting. So when when you're like, if you're married and you are watching the kids all day, you're actually in your masculine mode, you know, with your children, providing, protecting. When your husband comes home, or your partner, you get to switch into a feminine. So you don't mother your husband or your partner. It's really important. It's like, it's easy to slip into that, right? But, you know, the only type of men that like to be mothered are boys, or that are, you know, have a more feminine energy. So I've learned that the hard way. So, or just attracting, you know, guys that were like boys, or just not, you know, stable people, because, you know, because I was in my masculine too much. So it can show up in sneaky ways like that. But also, a lot of my friends that are like masculine like that, they kind of like defend it. They're like, yeah, I'm loud, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm just kind of like, but then they're wondering why they can't like get a masculine, very confident guy. And I'm like, you're vibrating, you're sending out masculine energy.
Yes.
So it's like, you know, you're going to get that opposite. So it's fine, like when you're in the gym, or, you know, if, you know, you're an attorney or whatever you do in your business, because the work atmosphere is pretty masculine. So there's a time and a place for that. Yes. But, you know, when you're with your guy, if you're choosing to be the feminine energy in the relationship, then when you're with your partner, that's the male energy, that you have to go into that place of, you know, receiving and being available to be cherished, and, you know, talking about your feelings. Like, men are talking about how they think. Women should be talking about their feelings. And you get to like listen to him. That's a big thing about being feminist, is like listening. You know, you don't have to give your opinion. They don't want to know your opinion about it. Talk to your friends about your opinion about things, honestly. Like, and so, you know, a man's supposed to be appreciated and, you know, heard and all of those things. So
that's funny, because that's what I find with a lot of women. And I'm actually, my next Facebook Live in my Date Like a French Woman group is going to be about, you do not want another version of you. You want a man. You don't want a girlfriend. This is not the same kind of relationship. There are things you shouldn't discuss with your boyfriend or your husband. They don't care.
They don't care.
Don't be offended. That's just who they are. But a lot of women don't get that, and they get really, their feelings are hurt. And it's really funny.
It's funny, like, once you realize that, it really is funny. And that's why it's so important to have good girlfriends who will hear all of those things. But, you know, it's not part of the masculine maker. You know, it's like, actually one of Dr. Pat Allen's books is called The Truth About Men Will Set You Free, but first it'll piss you off.
That's great. I love that.
It's for a reason, because it's like you're getting pissed off at him when he's just being himself, you know?
Exactly. You would ask a cat to be a dog, and you no. So talking about self-love, I always have those questions that I love to ask. Because a lot of people don't even know where to start with self-love. They don't even know what it means to them. So I always love my guests giving their own definition, so it can give ideas to people, because it's broad. To me, it almost includes everything in my life. But so what is your own definition of self-love?
My definition of self-love is recognizing every day and every moment my worth and my value, what I'm contributing to the world, and, you know, how important I am. In fact, I tell my clients, and I have reminders on my phone throughout the day about like the qualities I have. Like, I'm a very special and amazing woman, and like all those things. And I have friends that tell me that too, but it's always coming from this place of recognizing my value and worth, and just how amazing I am. You know, we all have that. And just knowing that any part of my past, present, or future is, you know, part of my evolution, and just really honoring that and coming from a place of like absolute like love and joy and kind of like celebrating myself, if you will. And I've trained my brain to kind of think that way in the morning, because it's like, it's just so important. So it's really, I think that's my definition of self-love, is just really recognizing that constantly.
That's great, because especially in the morning, because you set the tone for your day.
Mm-hmm.
So I see what kind of place it plays in your feels in your life, like it's almost an every moment thing, because you put it on your phone and everything. What kind of other practices that do you have in your life, like self-love practice, one or two that you could share with people?
Oh my gosh. Well, because like women in general are feeling based, I try to do things that feel good to me. Like I have candles all the time, just in my home. And yeah, it's like it just makes me feel good. Just certain things, the music, and then actually I work out every day, at least once a day, and that is just something that I love. That's me time, and I just recharge. And I always make time for those things. I never sacrifice them. It's always built into my day, even if I have to wake up a little earlier, because I put myself in a place of, you know, caring about those things. Also doing it, just, it's mostly about things that feel good. So like getting enough sleep, doing like making myself an amazing meal, being with friends and family that, you know, that kind of like feed my soul, doing things like that. So yeah, just anything that feels amazing to me is what I do.
Do you know about the work of Abraham Hicks?
Yes.
Feeling good, yeah, that's what it's a priority, because when you feel good, you attract good. So
you attract good. And it's so simple, but it's like, it's difficult for people to do sometimes. And even on the level of, I don't allow my mind to think about negative things or create these situations. And it's like, it's a form of discipline for me, but then I feel better, you know, and I go out of my way to laugh, and yeah, so.
It is, but when you practice it enough, it becomes a dominant way of being during the day, and it becomes much easier. You will think about a problem when it's time to act on it,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of your day, it's not going to be present in your mind, so you can fully enjoy your life.
Yes.
But it's a discipline, but I find that it becomes easier.
It becomes easier. One of my favorite quotes is, through discipline comes freedom. So you discipline yourself for a while, and then you're free. You're like liberated from all these bad habits or whatever.
Totally, totally. My last question is going to be about yoga.
Yeah.
So you're a yoga instructor. What kind of yoga are you teaching?
I'm certified in most forms, but my favorite is vinyasa. And I just do a form of vinyasa that is pretty like intense in terms of like cardiovascular, and then a lot of like deep stretching and relaxing at the end. So it's kind of like has this yin yang element to it. But I try to, you know, also be like inspiring and say certain things that, you know, connect with. I don't even, sometimes I'm just talking and it's like someone else is talking. And then at the end of class, people will be like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm like, you know, so I always want to be a channel for that as well.
Because when you're in your purpose, you are connected to your, whatever you want to call it, the universe, your higher self, whatever you call it, God, you are connected, and it's going through you. Like, for example, I do energy work and Reiki, it's going through you. You're just an instrument.
Good channel, yeah.
It's a channel. It's marvelous. So I never realized that yoga could have cardio in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Some of it is really intense, like the power yoga or vinyasa yoga, which is popular in the United States. It gets really like, and I just love it because you do that and then you stretch at the end, and then you're so ready for bed, or you're just, if you do it at the beginning of the day, you're so like relaxed, and it just feels like a massage, but sweating. It's like the best.
I'm going to check it out, because the one they have at the gym, I don't find that it's very, I don't feel my heart rate going up. So I have to research. But for our audience, go research too. amazing way to exercise. I want to thank you for being part of our show today because first of all, it was fun.
Yeah.
I've learned some stuff, so I'm sure the audience will learn some stuff too. Where can people reach you if they want to contact you or find out more about what you're doing?
So my website is Lauren Clayton, totalhealth.com. And then I'm pretty active on Instagram, which is Lauren Clayton _total health. And then my cooking brand is Scrumptious Creole Kitchen. And then Fat Girl Fitness, actually, Fat Girl Fitness stands for Psychology, Health, Attitude, Training, and Transformation.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, that's a business partner, Steph Hendel. And so you could check us out at Fat Girl Fitness with PHATT. So those are my 3 brands. Yeah.
Of the podcast as well. And I actually found you on Instagram, so people can find you there too. I'm glad I did. It was really...
I'm glad you did too.
Thank you, Lauren. And I know you're having an amazing life because you are applying the right tools. And I love meeting people like you because it's very important for us to let the information be known and share the tools. I'm really convinced that when you can help one person being happier, it actually contributes to peace on earth. That's my belief, that if everybody was working at that level with themselves, it would be such a better world. So
I completely agree. It all like vibrates out, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I've had so much fun.
It was fun. I wish you a great week. And for our listeners, I'm gonna let you go. And next podcast, it's going to be another subject because it's every month, one episode, one category of episode. So I'll see you next week with another kind of podcast where there will be no guests. Thank you, Lauren. Have a great day. For questions or to apply for an interview, visit datelikeafrenchwoman.com.